Welcome back to my team selection, and there's one reason you need to like this video and subscribe, because I'm into the top 1.5 million. A lot of green arrows coming my way, and trust me, I am just getting started. So let's see what I'm picking for this week. So let's look at my defense. Obviously, I've got Robert Sanchez in goal. Luckily for me as an owner, he was suspended, but in the Carabao Cup, I'm hoping now, fingers crossed, he returns to the starting 11 against Brighton, and he can hopefully show Maresca that he wants redemption. He wants to prove why he is the starting goalkeeper. They've got Brighton at home, and it's not going to be an easy game. We know that Brighton possess a lot of quality, coming off the back of Diego Gomez just scoring 4 in the Carabao Cup. But I hope that Chelsea can keep them out, maybe win 2-0, and that's just hope and praying. But, you know, my other option is Dubravka, and they're away at Man City. So for me, that is an easy choice with Sanchez. But I'm not overall confident that Chelsea keep a clean sheet. You then look at our defence, and obviously we've got Van der Ven starting at home against Wolves. Well, I think the proof's in the pudding. Tottenham are rarely conceding at the moment. Yes, they conceded 2 against Brighton, and they've conceded in 1 other game in the Premier League. But other than that, they have been very solid at the back. They've been robust. And a lot of the players have been fit and kept fit. They've had a lack of injuries at the moment, and it's allowing the team to build that chemistry, build that connection under Thomas Frank, and Van der Ven is a must pick. Williams, well, after just 3 minutes scoring for me last week, that was the French kiss. And I'm hoping something like that can happen again this week. But Nico Williams is going to be starting with Ola Aina out. We know that Williams is a lock. Forest are at home. Yes, the tricky part is they're coming back from a trip from Real Betis in the Europa League. But it is Sunderland, and I think Sunderland's form at home is going to be different to their form away. So I'm going to keep with Nico Williams at the back and hope that Forest can finally record a clean sheet in the Premier League. And then this is where I'm a bit torn at the moment. There's a couple of things in my team that I'm going to go through that I'm torn about, and it's now Konsa starting because I don't like doubling up on defenders. And as you can see, Murillo is my first sub. And I'm thinking, do I start Murillo and Williams and hope that they keep a clean sheet? And then I would be really laughing. Or do I go with Konsa, with Aston Villa? Yes, they're out of form, but they are in need of a win. They're in need of a victory. And they're coming up against a Fulham team that can be hot and cold. Raul Jimenez, you know, Rodrigo Muniz have got an exciting player called Kevin that potentially could start. But that is a type of game where Fulham could score, but also Villa won that 1-0 or 2-0, you also wouldn't be shocked. So I haven't made my full decision yet on if Konsa or Murillo will start. But right now I have got it on Konsa because I don't like playing 2 defenders from the same club. But guys, that is my goalkeeper and my defense for game week 6. And now we're looking into my midfield. And as you can see, I'm so happy with the Cody GAKPO situation. Because why? I was potentially looking to transfer him out if Ekitike did not get that second yellow card. So now it means that GAKPO is going to be guaranteed minutes. He wasn't involved in midweek in the Carabao Cup, and he is set to start. So Cody GAKPO is a lock into this team for this week, and that is basically my reason. And now I'm hoping for a cut inside and shoot special from Cody GAKPO. My midfield also includes Antoine Semenyo, one of the best players in the FPL, and if you haven't got him, then buy him. He's on penalties. He's always creative. He's always an asset. And yes, he didn't get many returns against Newcastle last week, but he did get DEFCON points. So imagine getting a return on top of that. I was loving it because I captained him. But he was up against a Newcastle team that actually has statistically the best defense in the league. But now he's going away to an Elise game. It's going to be open. There's going to be goals. There's going to be chances. And I hope Semenyo can get some of those points. And then I've got Anderson. We know that also he's a DEFCON monster. And he's always around the 12 mark, 11 mark, 10 mark throughout the whole season so far. But with a game at home, I'm hoping now that Anderson can deliver some points for us as, you know, Forest fans, you could say, on FPL, because I've got Williams and I've got Anderson. I like him to be a bit more involved going further forward. He could have had an assist for Nico Williams, if anyone saw it. A great save from the Burnley keeper, Dubravka. But, you know, it's the moments that Anderson can produce, and he's a man in form, so he stays in my team. And Kudus, fortunate with 1 assist last week. Then he got the second as well. I was loving that. A 7-pointer for Mohamed Kudus. And he's one of them players that I have said, people, I want to see him more involved centrally. I want him being more selfish. I want him taking on more shots because he plays nearly enough 90 minutes for Spurs. He's the lock-in in that attack. He is consistent. He is going to play. But I want to see him more in them central areas, taking more shots and being more creative instead of being a touchline winger under Thomas Frank. Let's see what he can do against a Wolves team that right now has lost every league game so far. They are struggling for form. And Tottenham, they're a team in form. There we go. And that is my midfield for game week 6. João Pedro against his former club leads the line in the attack. I think that Yao Pedro, despite Chelsea losing last week to Manchester United, which of course as a fan I was happy about, but Yao Pedro, in terms of his performance as an individual, I thought it was impressive, and that was considering Chelsea had 10 men. And I know Manchester United did in the second half as well, but Yao Pedro was on the ball. He was trying to drive forward. He could have won a penalty. That would have been a cheeky assist for Yao Pedro. But I think against his former club in Brighton, he's going to be hungry to deliver. And we know that Cole Palmer at the moment is touch and go. So I believe that Yao Pedro is kind of the staple and the main part of that Chelsea attack. I'm hoping that with that former club energy, he can get the return and hopefully keep us flying with the points. So Yao Pedro starts as my vice captain for this week. But then, of course, we've got Erling Haaland, a man possessed at the moment, a man scoring goals. And if you look at his data over the last few seasons at Manchester City, in the first 6 games of the season, he always delivers points. And this is game week 6. Could it be a hat-trick? Could it be a triple captain on Haaland? I'll let you lot decide in the comments. And then, of course, we've got Ollie Watkins now. He is Mr. Frustrating. You look at those fixtures from game week 1 and you're thinking points. All he's doing is giving me 2s. I don't want 2s. I need 6 and 9s. Ollie Watkins, please, against Fulham, give us something. This might be the last roll of the dice for Ollie Watkins after next week. Fulham and Burnley. 2 fixtures that I believe I can't take him out for, despite his price dropping to 8.8. I feel like the Burnley game at home is, please just sign us off with a bang. And against Fulham at home, Aston Villa desperate for a point, desperate for a win, and Ollie Watkins desperate for a goal. I'm hoping that Ollie Watkins over this next 2 games can give us returns. But yes, if you do get rid of him, I understand. But for me, with the Burnley game coming next, I think it's an easy transfer to hold. But as you can see, people, my captain is going back to the central of the park, and it is with Erling Haaland. Burnley at home, Manchester City in form, rested from the Carabao Cup in midweek. It's an absolute no-brainer. I think the only decision that I have to make now is Consor Murillo and Erling Haaland triple captain. The only reason I might not triple captain him, and this is what might help you guys watching FPL Hive right now, make sure you like and subscribing, is that Erling Haaland still has to play Sunderland and Leeds at home. And if you're thinking that a lot of people might triple captain or even wild card Haaland into their team for this week alone, then having him as captain, you've still got him as a captain. I don't think you're going to lose a lot of points from having him as just captain this week and not triple captaining him. Because if people are on a chip, they can then not triple captain. So I think maybe saving it for the later on game weeks could become a differential before it hits game week 19 and we get our chips again. So this is my team, people. Make sure you like and subscribe. Let me know down below your comments and your thoughts. And hopefully we can have a lot of green arrows.